Interesting.
Hi everyone. Hello.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
You're waiting for people to join. We're gonna give them a couple of minutes. Happy Saturday to you all.
Yep.
I hope you guys are having a great time. Hope you're having a great weekend. We are waiting for Yetunde to join us. Hi.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Let's add Yetunde. They're adding our co-host. Hello? Oh, yeah.
Hi, Miss Yesterday.
Hi. Trying the connection.
Your camera is kind of blurry.
Right? Okay, let me see. Okay, how is it now? Good?
Oh, yes, it's better.
Good, great.
Hey,
Hi.
how are you?
Hi, Miss
Good,
Yesterday.
thank you.
Yeah, I think it's better today.
Yes, it is. The connection is
Yeah.
great.
It's just, let's see this. Oh. Hold on, we're trying to fix our cameras. All right. Let's wait for another minute or so and see if you can get more people to
Good idea.
come on. Yeah. How's your weekend going?
Good, good. It's going so fast. I'm like, oh
I
my
know.
God.
Yep.
We need more days this
I know we
weekend.
do.
We need more days.
We do. I heard. I think one of my daughter was telling me that they said that they will add Friday to the weekend, as in like the kids will not be going to school on Fridays anymore. I said
For
she's
real?
excited. I said you're just lazy.
I wish they could do that for us too. Oh my goodness. But is that real news? Is that correct?
I don't know.
You're
That's
not
what she
sure?
said.
What? The kids
Can
will be
you
excited though.
can you increase your volume a little bit?
Okay, let me
I
see.
can barely hear you.
I think this is the most it would go. Maybe I would have to speak out louder then.
Okay. I hear you, but
Yeah,
it's kind of low.
it's just low.
Okay, I think we should start. We have an hour. We don't want to go more than an hour because, we don't want to drag it too far. Okay.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get more people as we go by. Yeah. So today I'm here with my husband, Mr. Sam, and my sister-in-law, Yetunde Taiwo. She's a social worker, and so we will be talking about depression and the high rate of suicide in these times. So the other day I was going through, I was on Facebook streets, and like people would say social media streets, and
Right.
I saw this guy is a Nigerian, DJ in the UK. He deleted, I'll use the word deleted himself, because someone that told his wife about something that was supposedly not true. They told his wife something, so he got a hold of that, and he killed himself. Sorry. This guy, I think that on that day he had dropped off his kids in school. He heard the news and then went and deleted himself. And like some 2-3 days ago again, I was on Facebook as well. I saw this American guy. He was a cop. He posted on Facebook and said it was done with his life and everything, and deleted himself as well. I can go on and on and on. There was another guy like 2-3 weeks ago in Nigeria as well. He was a rich, a well-to-do person. I think he's well known. I think his name is Laulu Martins, the co-founder of Buka Art. He deleted himself as well. The story that came out of that is that he was owing a lot of money. He lost money, something about Bitcoin or something. He lost a huge amount of money and went and deleted himself. There was another lady, I don't know if you guys remember, this lady, Folake Abiola. She was an accountant with Glow. One of my sister-in-law even said she knows her, They said she, in her own case, she was like 45 years old. She wasn't married, no kids at that time. And then one day, all of a sudden, she woke up and decided to delete herself as well. And people are saying that maybe she was depressed, she was not happy, let me use that word, because she's in her 30s and she doesn't have a husband. And, maybe that's why she killed herself, she deleted herself. But from what we later found out from one of the family members, they said she has been going through depression for many, many years, and that she decided not to even go into a relationship because she feels like she's sick, she has mental health issues, that she doesn't see herself being in a relationship because she feels like how she can't even take care of herself. She doesn't want another person to suffer, with her, because she's, she has a mental issue. So I guess she just got fed up with everything and decided to delete herself. So there's been so many cases. It's like almost every day when you log on to Instagram, Facebook, all this, social media apps. It's like there's somebody here in America and all over the world. People are just, people just give up on life and they just end up, committing suicide. So I was like, it saddens me, and I'm like, I think we should just talk about it. And I wanted to see what people's opinions are. I wanted to, just people to, whatever we can do to contribute, to positivity in life. That's what we're doing. So I want you guys to have your input on this issue. So we were going through a lot of statistics and stuff. I know that depression is the #1 cause of suicide in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, as far as I know, depression is not most people don't consider depression as mental illness. They don't even, I won't even say they don't consider, they don't even know that it's a mental illness. Most people don't know. They don't know that in Nigeria, people think you have to be quote and unquote crazy, be on the street naked, that the typical people that we call crazy in Nigeria, you feel like that's what crazy means, as in, I apologize for using that word, but that's what, people think Somebody is mad. Mad in here is different from mad in Nigeria. Mad here means you're angry.
Right. Right.
Mad in Nigeria means, you have
That's
psych issues.
totally different thing.
Yeah, they're totally different. So, so I would like you guys' input. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
yeah. So I want, who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
Well, depression, everyone experiences sadness, at various times. But, as I said, before we logged into this call, it should not be confused as depression. Depression is an extreme sadness and despair that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. So it causes feelings of sadness and loss of interest in activities that you once enjoyed. And for those that experience depression, when you're depressed, it usually, in most cases, it leads to a variety of emotional, cognitive, physical, social changes, such as loss of appetite or altered eating habits, difficulty concentrating, making decisions, withdrawal from social activities, and also thought of suicide. All these activities are things that could impair one's functioning, one's ability to function at work and at home. So if all these activities are impairing your ability to function at work, to do your daily activities, then, that is depression. And it has to have been going on for a period of time. So it's not you can't just wake up now and say, oh, I'm depressed. Or the next day, maybe you feel sad, the next day you're like, oh, I'm depressed. So this is something that has been going on for a while. You've noticed these symptoms, and we all differ. So some people might exhibit one symptom, another person might exhibit another symptom.
Mm-hmm.
So these symptoms should have been going on for a while, for let's say at least 2 weeks. You've noticed the symptoms for at least 2 weeks, and it's impairing your ability to function effectively at work or at home. So, that's something we need to know, that there is a big difference between being depressed and feeling sad.
Yeah. So, from my,
Well, I totally agree with yesterday. For me, I think depression is basically the absence of love, the absence of maybe loved ones around you. You understand? Because I notice that a lot of times people that are depressed feel this loneliness, like nobody cares about them. I'm just on my own, So I think for me, I'm not a medical person, but when it comes to depression, I think it's all about the absence of love, the absence of comfort, the absence of people that you believe really care about you. That's how I see depression, lack of those things. You understand? So and like you said, depression is I really don't know the medical part of it, but I believe it starts sometimes at an early stage, and sometimes it could just creep in just while we're too busy, not realizing the fact that some things are going on in our lives. So that's basically for me depression. And one of the things I always think about is when it comes to children and parenting, everybody needs somebody that they know cares about them. Everybody needs somebody that they can talk to. Everybody needs somebody that believes in them. So depression will come in several ways. But one of the ways I think it creeps in is when it seems to be as if there's nobody there for you. And that's why we always try to create a culture where our kids can tell us anything, anything. No matter how it seems, even if you're going to get upset, or you feel they shouldn't be doing such, or they shouldn't be knowing such, but I believe we should have that the best, when it comes to parenting, help our kids to tell us anything absolutely. And one of the things for adults, I guess the end points which leads to some people deleting themselves, but I guess if they had somebody they could talk to, if they had somebody they could confide in,
Yeah.
it would probably have been
Escalated.
yeah, it won't have gotten to because I have heard of so many people, that all of a sudden they got depressed and there's nobody there. And sometimes it's not as if there's nobody there. Sometimes apparently people maybe not ignore, people don't see it. People don't see it, and when it now happens, you hear comments like, this person told me this thing. I thought she was joking, I thought she was, so we need to be more attentive to ourselves, our friends, loved ones, and all that. And and somebody said the other time, as simple as a phone call could make someone's day.
Make a difference.
So that's for now.
You did raise a very great point also, because we as parents, we have to create the right atmosphere for our children. We have to let them know it's okay. It's okay to, to be depressed. It's okay. It's okay to talk to me about anything. And, I remember there was a situation, a friend told me that she told a mom that she was depressed. And she said, why did you say God forbid? Oh, you said God forbid.
Yes.
God forbid it.
Yes.
And they started praying. They're trying to pray that depression away.
Yeah.
Now, I'm spiritual now. I believe in the power of prayer. But we need to be realistic, African parents. We need to be realistic.
Yeah, I think that's one of the major challenges. African parents, they are not realistic parents. Honestly, to be sincere, because I know most of the time when you tell the parents, an African parent, especially Nigerian parents, I'm a realist, does not mean you don't believe in God, but you also believe that there are some realities that are certain that things need to be done about it. It's just like, the Bible says that God will bless the works of our hands. There's no food for the lazy person. And sometimes it beats me when you see somebody goes to church Monday through Sunday, praying for a job. I believe in miracles, but sometimes you need to go out there and look for the job and pray that, God, this interview I went for, I want it. I want it to be successful. You understand? Rather than waiting for somebody. And prayers like, God is going to send, God is going to, I guess God is going to disturb your helper, that your helper will not be able to rest until he sends you that help. You understand? And
you need to go and find your helper.
Sometimes I'm not saying I don't believe in some things, but sometimes when you need something, you ask God for this thing, and you also go and get it. So in relation to depression, a lot of parents, just like you said, some parents say, "No, I think I'm depressed. I God forbid, I reject it. I bind the cast." It's a good thing, but you should also want to know the cause of that thing that you are casting and binding. So the casting and binding will be more effective when you know exactly where it is coming from. I will give an example of one of our daughter. When she changed school, she made new friends, but she really liked her other friends so much that when she got to this school, she all of a sudden she became reserved. And we sat on and what's going on, and things like that. And at the end of the day, we found out that she really missed her old friend. And we're lucky that one of her friends was staying around the new neighborhood we came in. Did you know that we put our daughter in the car? We didn't even know which house it was, but we knew it was on a particular street. And we're driving for over an hour on that street.
We knocked on every door.
We were knocking on doors,
trying to find our friend.
Okay, yeah, that kind of thing. We didn't see her.
We didn't find
did you know that the efforts we put in, she saw that effort and knew that these guys they really are there for me. And that's it. She didn't see her that particular person, but she became better. You know, so at the end of the day, if you don't, you know, a lot of us go to work, we have our colleagues, we just put on this smile and we go, and all of a sudden we just hear, oh, okay, this person was deleted, or you know, it's gone or something, and begin to wonder what's going on, why did it happen, and all that. You know, and if only you had said, hi, good morning, you look good. Why you look so pale this morning? Are you okay? Maybe if somebody had done that, maybe it would have opened up to somebody. Maybe it wouldn't have ended the way it ended. You understand? But communication is key, basically.
Yes.
Depression. Okay.
So, not to cut you short. So I was, you know, I'm a registered nurse, so I know a little bit about some psych, you know, issues, and you know what. One second. You know, psych issues. Let me just put it that way. So, for depression, there are so many things there are so many causes of depression. You know, some people are born. You know, I would say born with it. It's biological. If your parents are suffer depression, you are most likely to suffer it as well. It's genetic. It can be genetic. You know, it could be. Sometimes women suffer depression after birth. I had that.
Yeah.
For me, it was because when I had my first child, my husband was not here at that time, so I was by myself. That went back to loneliness. You know, when my friends would come during the day after I had my kid, I was fine. I was fine because I had people around me. You know, but as soon as they leave, I was by myself. I would cry, and I couldn't even tell you the reason why I was crying. I remember a day my mom called me on the phone. I was talking to her. I just started crying. I couldn't even. Okay. Yeah, we have a caller. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, we have a caller. For anyone that is interested to contribute to this topic, you can call us on 832-344-7858. So we have a caller. Hello? Oh, what happened? Hello? We lost the call. Okay, so as I was saying, so I didn't even know that was depression. That was like postpartum depression. You know, a lot of people suffers from it. Also, like I said, there could be family history of depression. It could be through social environment, like you know, like these days. There's a lot of research that's been done to show that like social media causes a lot of depression for people, because people, a lot of, you know, we all kind of do it. We like to compare ourselves. You know, we have to compare and contrast ourselves with other people. For example, maybe you have your peers, you know, your high school mate, you know, you see them doing well, they're in Bahamas every weekend, and you're probably still struggling to even find a job, you know. So when you look at things like that, it can cause depression, you know. You can, you know, that's why they said that people should, you know, people should be, you should limit the times that you spend on social media. Social media can be depressing, but for me, I think it is the biggest opportunity in the world. This now, because the world has evolved so much. Everything's on social media. You can literally do any kind of business online now, you know, but people should limit the time that they spend on social media. You should be producing for social media rather than consuming. Don't consume too much of social media. You know, there's a lot of things. Half of the things are online are fake. You know, most of these things are not real. You won't. A lot of people will not come out and present themselves in a bad light. Everybody wants to present the best sides, their good side, the best, you know, possible side. You know.
I think on the social media thing, I won't see social media as a bad thing. Yes, it has its good and its bad side.
Okay.
But okay, we have a caller.
Hold on for the. Okay. Yes, we have a caller on the line. Hi, caller.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add a little thing to the discussion you're having right now about depression. So like like you said, the most important thing is we just need to pay attention to the people around us. There's all kind of things like we can't really, like, there's so many things that can cause depression, like a lot of, depending on where you live in, the location and everything. But in Nigeria we have a lot of situational depression, which is probably caused by lack of money, or you're depressed because you can't afford this, or like you said right now, all this social media intimidation. So take for example, you have a colleague that they are unemployed, they've never gotten a job, and they're coming to social media every day, they're seeing their friends wearing Gucci and wearing all kind of things, that can make you depressed. But like I said, there's difference, like when it's an acute depression or a chronic depression, that it's been built over time. And in Nigeria, like we all know, in Nigeria it's different. People don't go to, like, maybe the wealthy people does, but most people, it's very hard for people to go to the hospital and they tell you they want to go see a psychiatrist. And like you said, the only people they consider mad are people that are like,
walking on the street,
mentally unstable, and they have these what do you call them? They kind of labeled people when you go to, it's like you have a psychiatrist in Nigeria right now, you see a colleague of yours going to the office, you kind of this stigma that you're going to create, so you label them, and so there are so many different situations like that. But the most important thing is we just need to pay attention to our surroundings, try and get to know each other. When you notice people are having, they're not acting the way they normally do, you can, just easy question on checking on people, asking them, how you doing? Because every time, like sometimes you can even help people out of depression by just having a normal conversation with them, or even pointing them to the right direction. Because sometimes people have depression because of it could not, it could be little things, like maybe there's an issue they're having, but they don't know who is going to be the right person to help them out of that problem. So when they speak out like that, then you can share ideas together, or even give them an advice, or based on your experience. So like from my perspective, I felt the best way to really deal with it, mostly in Nigeria, we have to pay attention to each other, check on people, ask them questions. When you notice someone that used to be very jovial and all of a sudden you don't see them anymore,
the same
or they're kind of you see them, they're just looking down, and the way things are in Nigeria is still, it's a developing country, because a lot of time when people have problems, they kind of term them, or they kind of link them to spiritual, thinking it's more of a spiritual thing, and we are not so realistic when, so many things that can make people depressed, so many things. It doesn't have to be spiritual. Sometimes, take for example someone who has been, a graduate who graduated from the college for so long, maybe 3 years, they haven't gotten a job. You don't expect such a person to be smiling and be laughing. Even if you go out with your friends, you hang out with them, you drink beer, you have fun. Once everybody goes to their different places, after a while, you're going to come back to reality. On Monday morning when you see people going to work and, you're just sitting down there. So that's going to, make you definitely be depressed. So things like that, it's not just that. You see people, they get depressed because, like you said, peer pressure sometimes. Not really peer pressure. Most girls now in their like 30s are not married. Most time in Nigeria, especially,
people put pressure on them
getting depressed. Mostly when they see their friends doing good, they're seeing maybe their colleagues already have 3 kids, and things like that. Even social media, because like most people say, is on social media, nobody posts their bad side on social media. So when you go to social media and you keep seeing all these brighter things, you see people living life, you see them going on vacation, having a lovely family, nobody's going to post where they're fighting with their couple on social media. So
hold on. That's where, even that, I know people like to say, people are fake. Yeah, there are fake people, people like to present some stuff, like maybe, people like to present stuff that are not real, they're not there. But at the same time, People hide the negative, their negative sides. Like you
Yeah,
said,
but
I don't expect me.
yeah,
Even when you bring your native, even when you bring your negative side to the public, people will even talk and they will condemn you. Like, oh, why is she putting that on Facebook? That should be private, So yeah, go ahead.
yeah, that's the society norm, though. That's the thing. Because, like you said, sometimes even when you post negative things, personally, myself, I don't really, I don't share any negative thing about myself with anyone unless I know you can help me. Because a lot of time when you share with people and they make fun of you or joke about something that is, you're taking very serious.
Yes, hold on. I'm going to pause it again. Yes, that's very important because that's the problem too. When people come out and share those things, how they feel with you, they share their personal secrets, they share with you. People tend to say to other people, at the end of the day, it gets back to that person, or even if it doesn't, the fact that somebody comes to you to confide in you, you should respect that person's privacy and keep it to yourself. Like the guy, the DJ, the Nigerian DJ guy in UK that deleted himself recently. He deleted himself because somebody said something that was not, that was not true. They told his wife. So we don't, I don't know what that thing is. They told his wife, and this man decided to delete himself because of that. You don't know what people are going through. People should be nice to each other. We should be kind to each other. If somebody respects you enough to come and tell you their secret, you should keep it for them. You should keep it. Don't mock them. Don't laugh at them. So, that's another thing, because you don't know how deep that depression has gone. It's, if we can be nice to each other, keep people's secrets, it would be nice. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. That's very true. So we need to, try and be nice to people and be a little bit empathetic towards each other.
Yes.
Because, try and see things from other people's perspective. We need to realize we are not all the same. And people come from all kind of backgrounds. Something that is normal for you might be abnormal for someone else. So when you're able to see things from other people's perspective, you will not be judgmental towards them whenever they, because take for example, all these, even on social media, there's a lot of bullies. Like sometimes when things happen, like all these celebrities, their personal life.
Oh, if you read some comments, oh my God.
When you read some comments,
oh my God.
If you don't have, you don't have a good social support, or you're not even strong yourself,
yeah, it would be hard.
Even made you. People like here in America, people even kill themselves because of things like that. You tell them, go do this, you think it's a joke, but it's not. That's one thing people really need to realize, man. You can't just, like, it's not everybody that is, there's so many people are very fragile when it comes to dealing with situations and things like that. We are not all the same. So you can't just
we can't cope with things. We cannot cope with things the same way. Yes.
Exactly. So we just need to, be observant of others, be very empathetic towards, people around us, try and see things from their perspective. And like I said, in Nigeria, most people don't really consult with psychiatrists, or they don't take medication, except if they really run mad, like mad that you say in Nigeria. Like you go, it's not crazy, like, you tell people they are mad here because, you're hungry. Or real weary, that's what it is.
Yeah,
in Nigeria.
It is back home. Yeah.
So when you're there, up to that extent, because even naturally, like when you have some, slight problems, sometimes if you tend to keep to yourself and you isolate yourself, you don't share it with anyone, you will get to a point where you start having all kind of negative thoughts. In Nigeria, most time they'll term it more spiritual. They think it's the devil that is talking to you.
Yes.
You see people hallucinating or delusional and things like that. Well, that's because you have a problem and you're not sharing with anyone. You're not, you don't know how to find a solution to that problem, and definitely you get more depressed, and it get more chronic and get more severe, up to the extent that some people that can't handle it anymore, they're just gonna kill themselves. So it's very rare for people to just commit suicide all of a sudden, or just kill themselves all of a sudden like that. It has to go.
Yeah, use the word delete.
Delete themselves like that. It's very, very unusual. So most time it's always like a chronic situation where you have the problem. It's been going on for a while, and there's no way out about it because like people always say things mostly for Africans for them to kill themselves. You have to know
use
that
the word
thing is
delete.
very delete themselves. Sorry, you have to know that thing has to be extremely like. It's something most people won't even tolerate.
Most
That's
people have
always like
tough
the last
skin.
resort.
Yeah, most people have tough. Let me use the word tough skin back because you go through. Being born in Nigeria alone is a challenge. Is a big challenge, So growing up in Nigeria too is a greater challenge. There's so many things you have to adapt to. So most people are kind of tough until it gets to that point that they decide to delete themselves. Our environment back home is not really kind to people. I would say that because like growing up, there's a lot of bullying that people don't even realize that they're bullying people. Like people will call you fat if you're big. They will tease you if you're skinny. Not even tease, they will make fun of you. Seriously, like, oh, look at you, see how skinny you are, toothpick. They call you names and stuff. And if you're big, they call you names. If you are short, they call you names. If you are too tall, they call whatever. As long as you have something that makes you different from other people. And this is not even just friends or neighbors or what. Even your own family members. People. It's kind of like part of life in Nigeria. Like people just, and those kind of things can make you have a depression at a young age. Kids go through depression. Kids go through depression. Like the other day, my daughter was saying she wants to change her school. I was like, why? Why do you want to change your school? Because I was worried. Is there something going on? Because, for kids to come and say, I don't want to go to my school again. I'm like, maybe somebody is bullying her. Is somebody bullying you? Because we don't know. And these things, they can be from childhood, because maybe you are not the normal way or the way that people expect you to be, and those kind of things can mess with your head. That's why there's a lot of people these days doing plastic surgery, trying to conform to what the society, the standards that the society expect them to be. That's why people are dying from that. People are dying from that. Look at the lady that I said she was 45 years old and she was not married, But they said that's not why, but because that she deleted herself because she has this depression, not because she wasn't married. But all of that could contribute to it too, as well. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. That's very true. In addition to that, so one other thing that we really need to work on in our society is like, the people that are like less privileged, the disabled people the disabled people like in Nigeria, people really don't treat them fairly at all. When someone is disabled, he has any form of disability, people tend to make fun of them instead of cherishing them or showing them love, because that's not their choice. That's the way they are born. So we need to realize that. Like, you see someone who is like having Down syndrome, they're probably going to be giving them all kind of nicknames, like, Bebe or things like that. So definitely that's not going to help their mental state.
Yeah.
So situations like that, when, that's the way they were born. So you just have to, be able to face the reality. This is not their choice. That it's not like something they really desire. That's the way they found themselves.
Yeah.
So we need to respect them for who they are, and we can. There are some things you joke about everything, but when it comes to things like that, like they say in Yoruba, say they buara. Sometimes you don't want to joke with something like that. It's not definitely, and the way the society is. That's why you see a lot of parents, except for the few educated ones now or the rich ones, that you see being proud of their kids that have any form of disability. Because a lot of time people tend to hide them at home. They
exactly.
They feel they're going to be embarrassed. They're going to be it's not going to create a good impression about them when they bring them outside and people know they have the child that has a disability.
Yeah, let me add to that. Yes. I remember growing up, we had a neighbor who had a child that was mentally, this child had kind of like Down syndrome-ish. Oh my God. They treated this child so bad. Every time a visitor comes to the house, they will, and the boy comes, and the boy, thank you so much for your contribution, and the boy comes out of the room. As soon as he steps out, his parents will slap him and they go inside, go back inside. That was growing up. Even as a child, I knew that was very wrong. That was very, very wrong. This child, they will starve him. They will starve this child, lock him in the house. They don't want people to know. They had other kids, about 3 or 4 other kids. Those ones will always come out, the healthy kids. But that other one, they will always lock him in the house. One day, we just realized one day that we haven't seen this boy in so long. We never saw him for like a month or two, to come to realize that the boy passed away. It was terrible. In Nigeria, people do that a lot. People tend to, if you have like cancer, people will tend to be nice to you and not understand that you have a disease or a sickness. People tend to be sympathetic with you if you have maybe like cancer and stuff. But when you are mentally challenged, or you have a disability, people just tend to be mean. People just tend, to not be quite nice to you.
Let me comment there. I think it's a societal thing. Basically, most of these issues, like you have a kid that has Down syndrome, the reason why maybe the neighbors will mock the person is, it's all boils down to, I don't want to say religion, but a lot of people, you hear comments like, only God knows what the parents did. Only God knows what, that kind of thing. But the reality of the whole thing is, Nigeria, Africa as a society, it's the way it is. You understand? We talk of being sympathetic with people and all that, but everybody in Nigeria kind of has a hard life, has something is going through. Everybody in Nigeria is kind of selfish. Let me sort my problem. I have my own problem. You can't bring your own problem. That's just the reality. But at the end of the day, I think the first thing we need to learn as individuals, as people maybe going through stuff and things, is how to love ourselves. Self-love, that's the number one thing. If you don't love yourself, nobody's going to love you more than you love yourself. That's just a second thing. Like you mentioned the other time, some people were fat, thin, you understand? I don't care. I don't care what people say. And me at this thing,
no, but
I don't hold on.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. I personally don't care what people say about me anymore. I used to, and I know that I had depression at the point in time in my life, because after going through my life, I thought about it. You understand? But at the end of the day, Nigerian society is the way it is. For you to survive, you need to first love yourself. That's one. The other one I also want to talk about, where you mentioned, celebrities and bloggers. The truth of the matter is, you see a lot. Social, like I said earlier, social media is a good thing. People use social media to make positive things as well as negative things. But for the so-called celebrities, bloggers, I think they are part of the societal problem when it comes to depression. Why? You see a celebrity posting different kind of cars, chains, wristwatch. Yeah, he earns it. It's his, whatever it is. Nobody's saying that it's wrong. You do what you want to do. But it would have been nicer sometimes when you post these things and also post the hard work you put into it. So these young guys don't think it's just killing. All I just did is a microphone and go to a studio, drop something, or act and become a multi-millionaire. Rome was not built in a day. I mean, this celebrity should help the society as well. And for the bloggers, most of these bloggers, I go through some Nigerian bloggers, and all I see is this one, this husband, this one, they say a lot. There's too much negativity in these blogs. And I begin to wonder, are the purpose of these blogs, especially the Nigerian ones, to break up homes? Not everybody can handle this thing. Some people, they get so insulted that you don't know what they are going through. You understand? So I think social media, when it comes to social media, some of the celebrities if they could help. You know, some of them actually do. Some of them encourage people. Some of them, you need to work harder, you know. I was watching, what's her name? There's this female comedian in Nigeria now. I think she's running the show. I can't remember her name now. She's big, you know, and all that. You know, I remember there was a video she made I watched, and she started from when she was nothing, when she had nothing, and how she has grown. You know, and she has a particular blog that she tells people, she calls it Monday Morning Motivation or stuff like that. And she tells people, if you think it just happens, boom, like that, no. We go through a lot, you know, we go through a lot of things. That's for the social media. Then also for individuals, another thing I want to say is, who are your friends? I mean, do you know who your friend is? Because a lot of times, if you look at the history of depression, it always comes it comes from angle of friendship. This person did this to me because this person did that to me, or you know, that kind of thing. So who are your friends? Do you know, are they the kind of people that will look out for you, or they will just okay, let's whatever happens, you know? That's just basically. So depression, like the caller said, has a wide range.
Yeah.
You know, has a wide range. If you can go from here, you know, stigmatization, you know, this on social media and all that, you know. And for me, I think one of the most important things for this whole thing is basically looking for a source,
like a support. You need support system.
Like the caller said, if somebody does not literally run mad and walk on the streets, they will not take you to a psychiatric home. When you start seeing signs of like, you know, my kid used to come and talk to me, all of a sudden she's withdrawn, she's coming back from school, she's looking all pale, all tired, you know, people don't care. I went to work, I'm tired as well. Oh, you have house helps, you know, you know, that kind of thing. You need to put some focus on your family, friends, and all that. You understand? Gone are the days when you go to your office in the morning, but how was your weekend? You know, things like that. During your lunchtime, you see that, I mean, you know, talk to each other, but people don't care anymore. People don't care anymore. Some of these things, you might not see them late, you might not see them early. Some you might see early, but at a point in time, if you have that attention, you would catch it. You understand? So we need to really, really be there for each other. I have a friend. We went to we're in the same alma mater, and I told him something some time ago. For me, he's beyond a friend now. He's a brother to me. You know, I told him something some time ago. When we talk, I said, "How about this person? How about that person?" When we were in school, he was in this class. And shockingly, he had every detail I want. Oh, this guy, he's not a lawyer. Oh, he's not an engineer. Oh, he's doing well. Oh, he's not, you know, okay, let's reach out to him, you know. And I asked him, how do you keep in touch with all these things? Well, for me, I say that's your ministry. You understand? He's good at that area, you know. But for people like that, encourages, it's a good thing that I pray to God, I want to be like this when it comes to this. Because if you look at it, okay, there was an instance that happened some time ago. One of our old, you know, friends was going through a lot, you know, and was almost into depression and all that. And, you know, he just reached out to me. I just apparently asked about the person, and the person said, oh, he said he's going through this, this is number, reach out to him. And I reached out to him, and we spoke, and I was almost in tears because of what this person went through. And all this person needed was encouragement. I reached out to him, I was like, cool. And he's doing wonderfully well. You understand? So we need to learn how to encourage each other, how to look out for each other. You understand? And like you said, reduce your social media.
If I may add to, I'm sorry to cut you off. If I may add, because I need to quickly piggyback on what the caller and what Evelyn also said earlier on. It's very important that aside from environmental factors such as, you know, what the caller said, the poverty, abuse, neglect, exposure to violence, just as Evelyn said about the first responders, you know, their continuous exposure to violence, you know, those are examples of environmental factors that actually, you know, play a role in depression. Aside from that, we need to also know that the difference in certain chemicals in the brain might actually contribute to symptoms of depression.
Yeah, that's the biology part. Yes.
It's very important. Always know that. Aside from the environmental factors, personality, just as Evelyn said, people with low self-esteem,
genetics,
they are easily overwhelmed by what they see, what they hear. They're overwhelmed by their stress. Also, Evelyn also mentioned about genetics also running in the family. Do not forget that biochemistry also plays an important role in also depression. That's something that, it's a different topic entirely.
So Ms. Today, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Like you just said now, the chemicals in the brain, the biological pattern. I'm not a medical person though.
I'm not a medical person.
Like for somebody that has low self-esteem and all that, is there nothing like is there nothing like the family or the environment can do to help the person boost their self-esteem?
Yeah, so when you have people with issues
depression
like that, you have to, once you know that, this is what this person suffers, then you'll be willing to work with somebody that is willing to help that person. You can also meet with a therapist. We have free opportunities for counseling everywhere. In the States, I'm not sure about in Africa. It's so sad that there are not enough mental health clinics. But something that is good about back home is that you have good support system from family members. That's those that are not really into the spiritual.
Yeah, if they agree that you have mental issue, because that's a very different thing.
We live in a technological world. Times are changing. 10 years ago, parents were binding and casting depression. Now they are.
They're still doing it.
Let me tell you something. Now they are more exposed to depression and the consequences of not treating depression because of what they see on TV, on social media. Yes, exactly. So that's it. It's like this social media thing. It has its good and its bad. The good thing is that our parents are knowing more about these things. They're knowing that this is the real enemy here, and they have to tackle it heads on, not by casting and binding. So
let me. We're gonna. Mr. Dele has joined us on Facebook. Before I let him talk, I wanted to add a little to what you just said. Like you were telling me that in Nigeria they have only about 9 certified psychiatric hospitals.
I read there was research that this was a while back, so it might have changed now. A while back when I wrote a paper on the amount of psychiatrists, I was saying 9 to 12, but it might have changed.
I was saying to you, I said, I believe that. I don't even know any psych hospital except the one in Lagos.
Aside from Aro, right?
That Aro and Yaba, I think those are the most two. Yeah, those two. Then, but there's thousands of Woli. Thousands of herbalists, like local herbalists that people take when they have mental illness, they take them to where they have them chained, they barb their hair, and some of them even walk them through the streets chained together asking for money. I remember seeing those when I was little. Like you will see, that's what they have, where they beat them if they misbehave. I'm like, oh my God,
sad.
It's crazy. But anyway, let's acknowledge Mr. Dele.
Okay.
Mr. Dele, are you still there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi. Nice. Thank God you can join us finally.
Yeah. It's good to be online with you guys tonight. Quick one. It's an interesting topic that you're handling tonight, and I'm glad that I'm actually opportune to be part of it.
Thanks so much.
The things that we're talking about here, it's common now in Nigeria, and yes, it's the two that you mentioned, that the two institutes that you mentioned are the oldest, but recently there are other private hospitals that are actually handling issues that are relating to mental challenges, and there are so many factors like you've identified that actually causes the problem. And recently I've noticed, those symptoms. I noticed people who just lose it, and they kind of like start manifesting some things, and you start wondering, and like you said, a lot of people will start thinking that maybe this is a spiritual attack. But after some time that I've actually related with, those who are in the medical field, I realized that, hey, this thing is just like somebody having malaria that, can be treated.
Yes.
It's not something that is out of the ordinary,
Yes.
that all they just need to do, once they take their medication and they rest well, I mean, they can reset back to, their default states of, being normal and, relating normally like every other person. But where the problem lies now is when those who are having this challenge now don't admit that they have this problem and they don't want to go in to see the doctor. So that's when it becomes a big issue. I'm talking about those who have it. I mean, those like maybe, should I say, hereditary now,
Okay.
those
Yes.
who have it. And so there was a recent case which I was privileged to, be part of the people who took the person in for treatment. The person became very aggressive. Someone who was naturally a reserved and quiet person, the person became very aggressive and started seeing the loved ones as the enemy and all that. So, but I realized that over time, that if people who are having such issues, if they are properly managed at the early stage, they might actually be reversed. I mean, they might actually be corrected, and they'll start living their normal life. Of course, they will be on medication, and so far so good. I think the person actually stayed almost a month in the hospital and is home and back and better. And the doctor recommended that, okay, you always take your medication. Then for those ones that are common, that are, the Niger factor has really dealt with a lot of people. You just see people just be walking on the street and you like they are lost in their thoughts because, the economy is like, okay, where do I get my next meal to come from? Like the things that trigger these things varies. It varies. You understand? Some people have it in their, genetically they have it, but because of the environment they find themselves, it triggers
Makes
the
it worse.
it triggers it. So it's like something that's been in the initial stage. Then something now activates it, and once that thing is activated, there's no going back. Once it's activated, there's no going back naturally. You have to start living on medication. It's just like there's this issue. I think somebody who's having high blood pressure. Once you have high blood pressure, you start taking BP medication. That's it. You can't. It's always very difficult for you to now stop because you have to live on it for the rest of your life. So I believe if it's properly managed, a lot of people. There are so many people that are living with. It's in this part of the world that you see. You're being winch hunt. Yeah, is the village people, is your forefather, is your ancestors that have gotten you and all that. So, but over time, I've realized that it's nothing. It's not a big deal. But how many people do you want to tell? Because of the level of information available out there. So a lot of people are not well informed about, those symptoms. You understand? So once they see it, they tag the person, and this is another, big deal, because once you tag the person, it becomes an issue. You understand? It makes it more difficult for the person now to come in, for the person now to open up, or for the person now to want to take help. So in this part of the world, when they hear that you go to Aru or you are taken to Yaba left, you understand? You are like, hey man,
stigma.
finished. Yeah, it's a stigma on its own. So you discover that a lot of people avoid, although now I learned that, most general hospitals now have the departments for, that mental issue. They are having a department for it, although not all of them have a facility for admission, but most of them have, specialists that comes in maybe once or twice in a week and attends to patients and all that. So, so far so good. I believe what the society I'd like me to do is to educate more people so that the stigma can be reduced. You understand? And they will stop, they'll stop, you know, running away from people like that, that once they see the symptom, because, and there are other people that, you know, it's been triggered by substance, you know, drug, smoking and all that, you know. These are some things that can trigger.
Alcohol can cause you can lead to cause depression. Alcohol and drugs. Yes.
But sorry, I remember one of the things growing up. What they used to say back in Nigeria then is, drink your sorrow away. Alcohol.
Well, when that alcohol leaves your system, you back to reality. You be back to reality. You know. Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Funny enough, I think, you know, when you're talking about drinking your sorrow away, drinking has got different levels. You can drink ordinary beer, but some people, ordinary beer can trigger it for some people. I've actually seen some, you know, I've actually seen someone, I mean, recently in my area, somebody just came out from his house with his knicker and t-shirt and started preaching around 11 p.m., you know, aggressively, and was shouting, and people are like, is this guy normal? I was looking at the guy. The moment I saw the pattern, I knew that this was not right. This guy needs help. This guy needs to be checked into the hospital. But the guy was putting up resistance. So in my quest, I now started making inquiry. I discovered that, the wife said he had that problem, but he has refused to go into the hospital for doctor to check him and give him. So I think what triggered his own was that I think he went into drinking. He started drinking. So his wife is now seen as the enemy. He doesn't eat the wife's food, you know. He wakes up in the middle of the night and starts screaming and says he's praying to God. One of those things is that they channel their energy to something. That they started reacting. I realized that they start reacting. They start doing something consistently, something that's not normal. They start doing it consistently. Those are some of the symptoms that, you know, I've actually seen.
Yeah, let me add to that. Like, if you have anyone around you who maybe they're always like maybe friendly, outgoing, and all that, and all of a sudden they change, they're withdrawn, they're moody. You know, you want to check on them. You want to make sure they're fine, because sometimes people don't even know, like chronic depression, sometimes they don't even know the reason why they're depressed. They can't even tell you. They just have this feeling, this depressive feeling all the time. Nothing can take them out of it, whether they're with their you know, in their comfort zone, you know, whether they're doing things that normally makes them happy. They're just, you know, they're just depressed. They can't, that's the real depression, because depression is different from sadness, like, oh, I'm broke, I'm sad. You know, most Nigerians, that's the kind of you know, like, I don't have money to go to the club, I'm sad. That's not depression, you know.
No,
this depression is really, really like when everybody can see that you are doing fine, and you're not just happy. You are not just, you know, you can't lift yourself out of this mood, you know.
Well, is there a thin line? I think there's a thin line between those who are having. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think
there's a thin line between those who are having depression and you know, who are having depression, and those who are having mental challenge.
Depression is a mental sickness.
Yes, that's where it starts from.
Yeah, like, right. I know you are in Nigeria. Like, people here in the Western world, they actually take medication for depression.
Okay.
Like how you would take medication for high blood pressure, or, you know. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's yes. It like the way, that's why I said people have empathy for people that have cancer. But when somebody is like depressed or have psych problem, or, you know, like the people that we call with in Nigeria, you know, people tend to stigmatize them. Like, they tend to look at them like, you know, toss them away.
Yeah.
Like,
but it shouldn't be used.
It shouldn't even be used, you know.
Exactly.
You know, yeah. Depression is a sick, you know.
Yeah. So depression, just as, you know, Evelyn said, it is a common mental illness.
Very.
And it could get serious if not managed effectively. So it could be a serious mental illness if not managed. And Fortunately, just as you said, it is treatable with a combination of therapy and antidepressant medications. Therapy, very important, antidepressant medication, both would help manage, ultimately treat symptoms of depression.
I think here in the US, there are people with more chronic depression. There are people with that a lot.
Yes,
I think
from
society
mild to severe.
Yes, I think here, because there's more advancement in health. You know, I don't know if I shouldn't say it that way. And because of the research that's been done, one thing I notice is that here, I think majority of here everybody is kind of on their own.
Yes.
Most people it's not like back in Nigeria where you can go outside and play and go to your neighbor's house and you have friends. You know, people can kind of manage it. But here, everybody is kind of on their own. You are in your own cubicle. Loneliness is not one of the things that, that's why a lot of foreigners, when they come to this country, they go through depression. I did when I first came here. I went to school in a city where everybody speaks Spanish, and people and I could go through the old city, the whole day, and not find another black person.
Wow.
I could be the only black person walking that street for the whole week, actually. So, coming straight from Nigeria where, everybody's there, my mom, everybody, coming to where I was just isolated and people don't really talk to you. I went through some form of depression. I went through it.
It's just like you said earlier.
So what would you advise for other people coming into the country? What worked for you? What's your advice for those coming?
Now it's better because there's WhatsApp. There's social media again, you can reach out to people. Unlike then, initially when I came for like a month, 2 months, I didn't even have a phone. It took me a while to get a phone. The system here, you have to have social security number, you have all this thing. It was kind of a little hard, But I'm sure at that time, there was like the Zoom now. You can physically see people, you can talk to them, you can reach out to people. And that time, even when I had the phone, it was expensive. You don't just sit on the phone and be calling people. Just the way me and you can talk all day and not even spend $1. With WhatsApp, you don't even get charged. It's easier now because there's communication. But at that time, it would take me weeks before I could even call my mom. And when I have money to call my mom, I can't even call them. I can't call my friends. I will only call the people that are most important that I need to, maybe my mom, my dad, and ask them for money. So it was very, so a lot of people, when they come from their country, you come to a different culture. The system here is so different. Whatever you come from, any part of the world. So most people go through depression. You leave your family there. They go through. So there's depression. Like I said, when I had my kid, my husband was not here. My first child, my husband was not here at that time. I didn't even realize I was depressed at that time. Until much later in life, years later, I realized, you could call me, you would just call me on the phone. You say, hello, how are you doing? I will start crying. I can't even tell you why I'm crying, because I was lonely, I was depressed. Postpartum depression is real when people have kids, when you just deliver. Now, I'm a labor and delivery nurse. I go postpartum nurse. Every day, I have to teach my patient. I have to tell them to watch out for symptoms of postpartum depression. And here in this country, there's a support group for postpartum depression that people can reach out to. That's the good thing about America. They have support for they have groups, numbers, 1-800 number. You want people to come to your house, they can come to your house and sit with you and talk to you and hold your hands. That's just the good thing here. But back home, we don't have any of those things.
But some of these things are not government run, Some of these support groups are individual NGOs,
Yes, a lot of them.
But the thing is, one thing, like we said in the society, Nigerians depend a lot on government. You understand? They depend a lot. If nothing is working, it's the government. You understand? So, for the government it's a good thing that they have, like Dele said, they have mental doctors or facilities in general hospitals now. At least is something, But like you said, it's not easy to get this support. in Nigeria. You understand? But when you get it, it's expensive.
It's expensive.
Here in America, people have health insurance or families have health insurance. In Nigeria, I don't know if they do, if they have that. So at the end of the day, it could be expensive. And you can see some families choosing between how do we survive as against taking this person to the mental facility. And that's why some of them end up in churches for deliverance. You understand? So that's basically. But depression is like in Nigeria. That's why it's always linked to spirituality. Is the devil's attack is devil's attack. You know. So sometimes it will be as easy as taking this person to Yaba, seeing a doctor, going through therapy, taking medication. And I know those doctors would always tell you, show this person love. Let's be around that, that person. You understand? So that's, some of us will go through depression, we don't know. At the mild stage, like it is this mild stage, sometimes you will feel like it's just a normal thing, but when you eventually get to a stage and you sit down and actually think about it like you did when you had a first child, oh, then I must have been depressed. I really didn't know. You understand? But thank God we're able to go through or pull through. But like I said earlier, aside from the medical and all that, which I'm not very vast at, these things will be managed. Going to the right, going through the right procedure, going to see a psychiatrist.
If it is caught early, if the person realizes that they are depressed, it can be managed. We don't want people. I get sad when I see people jump off the bridge or just delete themselves. I wish. Sometimes I wish I knew them. Maybe I could have reached out to them and. But a lot of these people too, they keep it to themselves. They don't tell anyone, or they've told people and people laugh it off and wave it off. You are depressed, you'll be fine. Let's go and drink, or it will be over. Because people, like we said, people back home, they don't consider mental illness, depression as a big deal. Well, we all get depressed every time.
Yeah, you hear things like, "Wow, you'll be
okay. Let's go and drink."
Sorry.
At the end of the day, some of these people.
I think part of the challenge we're having back here is because it's like depression is now becoming a lifestyle, so to say. Depression is now becoming a lifestyle. You see a lot of people slipping into depression unconsciously because of the environment. Yeah, some people don't even know. Yes. You see a lot of people on the streets, walking on the street of Lagos, they are depressed. But it will take somebody who is stable, who is not going through a lot of challenges that an average Nigerian is going through, to actually see through that this person is actually going through depression. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you can imagine the factors that triggers depression. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Basic things. Yeah. You can imagine somebody having 2 kids. I've actually witnessed 2 guys that ran away from the home. Fathers, they ran away from the home because they couldn't face it anymore. The guy will go to work. He will come back with the little that he could get. The wife will complain. He say, "It's not enough. It's not this. It's not that." And the guy was thinking, "I'm trying. I'm not being able to pay Baba landlord. NEPA bill is there. School fees is there. At least I'm still bringing something to the company." Guess what? The guy disappeared. When the guy disappeared, they started looking for him. If I come back, I'll just die. Because I don't know what to do, So you can imagine such thing. The only to hear is give him a job that he will start making money to meet his needs. And once his needs are met, he will be emotionally stable. And this is a common
basically
trend
like partners could cause depression for each other. Like
oh yeah.
But I have a question though. This is I don't know if you will be the best to answer this. I once spoke to a friend about depression in Nigeria one time. One of my friends in Nigeria, and I said, so how? I asked him, so when we spoke, I said, so how do you know who is depressed? Like Dylan said almost everybody on the streets of Nigeria are depressed, but they don't know. So I asked him that
there's a lot of mental illness in Nigeria.
How do you know who is depressed? I put that question to him, and the answer he gave me was, he says, number one, when you see somebody shouting unnecessarily, that person is depressed. And I'm asking, how he's shouting unnecessarily? He says, for instance, maybe somebody did something that's maybe as little as maybe he's just walking past you and accidentally, you know, bumped you and actually apologize. Oh, I'm sorry. He says that's depression. And I don't know. I think it is. Well, what do you think?
People just have anger issues. Yeah.
Well, I would not say everyone has their own definition of depression. So I'm just going based on the American Psychiatry, Association, APA. And, based on that, it's an extreme sadness and despair. And, you have to exhibit some symptoms. And part of those symptoms are, but not limited to altered eating or sleeping habits, difficulty concentrating or making decisions, withdrawal from social activities, feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness,
feelings of worthlessness,
suicide. You have to exhibit some of those symptoms for a period of more than 2 weeks, and it has to impair your ability to function at work or at home.
Normal daily life.
With that, then you start that would give you a clue that I think I am depressed. Let me see somebody and to get the proper diagnosis, because I cannot diagnose anybody. So when you start exhibiting such symptoms, that's your cue to see a psychiatrist to get evaluated, because you would have to be evaluated professionally to be given a diagnosis of major depressive disorder.
Let me read out.
And as you said, it ranges from mild to severe.
Let me read out what Mrs. Agbola said. There are lots of stigma attached to mentally ill people in Nigeria and their families. Even when the patients are okay, many people believe once the person has such illness, it will always come up again. Yes. So many will say, don't marry from that family. Yep. That's even the reason why people like to hide it. That's why people don't go to the hospital. That's why people don't even acknowledge that they have a mental illness in the first place. Because our society, once they hear that, oh, your family has, oh, that's it. They'll say, I'm on difficulty, I want to check it out. Oh.
The way we use the word depressed.
No, I don't think it's just Africa. No. Don't let us limit all these things to Africa. Oh. It goes on everywhere. Everywhere.
I'm
You'll
sure.
be surprised.
We are saying Africa, but that's what we know.
Now, another thing I realized is that, is it possible that people tend to go into addiction just to suppress their depression?
Say that again. That is it possible that people do what?
For people have to go into addiction in order for example, somebody who is going through a phase of depression, now getting addicted to something, just to distract him or herself from that situation.
Oh, okay. Addiction doesn't help solve depression. It doesn't. It's like maybe somebody is depressed and decides to smoke weed or drink alcohol excessively and all that. It's not going to solve the depression.
It even makes the symptoms worse.
It's just going to maybe suppress.
The once that effect of whatever you took is gone. You're back to reality. It makes it worse. It makes the symptoms worse. Hold on, let me finish with this. So this has discouraged families taking sick ones to Aro and other psychiatric homes. Solution now is them being treated in psychiatric departments of hospitals in Nigeria. Okay. So, and she also said, very sad to learn today that a mother of very young children going through depression because of domestic violence had to set herself ablaze and she died. Yes, I read that story. People, of course, were blaming her, but she had been complaining of the violence she had been suffering on social media. Why couldn't the police or some NGO get involved? I
think that again goes to the point that Nigeria is a suppressive environment. Because growing up there are some certain things you will do that most family want to suppress it within the family.
They don't want
when
to
it
shame.
comes to domestic violence, you know this person is beating the wife. And you, rather than take action or, but they will tell you, religiously it's wrong to separate and all that. And, okay, we'll talk to him. How long will you keep talking until the person loses his life?
Pause for a minute. The problem with Nigerian society, according to what I read about this young lady, she and her husband, they're always going back and forth. Today they are fighting, tomorrow they have reconciled. Today they fight, the next day they have pictures of them together. So maybe people even try to, maybe people try to help her. What if she doesn't want the help? You know what I mean? Because our culture, sometimes people like to, hold on one second. People like to, when people have problems like this, other people come into it and try to resolve the problem. Say, forgive you, he's the father of your kids. Look at your kids, stay with him because of your kids. Sure, you understand. So I'm sure probably that's the cycle that's been going on, because people will always tell you, even your pastor in Nigeria will not encourage you to leave the man. He will encourage you to pray for him, stay with him, and look after your kids and pray to God and hope for the best.
It's more of,
sure, you understand.
It's going to be more of, what are you doing that is getting him angry that he will beat you?
I don't.
That's
hold on.
I don't like that angle.
Scenario. I grew up with two couples. I grew up with a couple, Baba Koye and Yakoye. Those people give me another perception about marriage. Baba Koye will beat his wife from upstairs, so he will beat the woman. He will beat her to the road. Yakoye will park to their house, to their family house. A week after, Baba Koye will go. I will go and prostrate and beg. Eshuni, Yakoye will carry her back and follow.
And they will tell her to forgive him, you see? That's Nigeria for you. Nobody in Nigeria will really say, leave your husband. These people,
they were fighting. The woman will go, the man will go and beg. They will come back. So it became a pattern. So people just talk. These ones are they just don't put your mouth, because it got to a point that people now called Mama Koye. There was a day that she came downstairs and she was having red eye. Mama Koye, what's the problem? So it was as if it was a bit of love. The beating was for love, That's their own interpretation of love. And because funny enough, that marriage is still standing till today. I'm talking about marriage of over 20-something years.
You see?
But I don't know, maybe the man is still beating her because they moved away, But that time I remember vividly while I was young, almost every day. Before you know what's happening, because the man is short fused. He has given it to her. But I think the woman also, she now ties to the beating in a pattern that she will just take the beating, she will carry her bag, she will go. When the man will come back, both of them will come back together to the house. The next thing, you're not hearing any noise. And I'm like, and some good of what Yakoye was taking. So and I'm like, is this the normal thing? You can imagine a child growing up in that kind of home. That child would think that is normal.
You probably repeat the same cycle. Yeah.
It's a different, depression is very broad.
We cannot even finish that conversation today.
You can't finish it because you see it in different manifestations, you see it in different forms. And if you're not careful, you'll not be able to, because there's some people that are just going through some temporary thing, like the other person said that, you have to see the symptom consistently for a particular period of time, So for Nigerians, how do you now determine, because it's like I said, it's now like because when something is consistent, you're not seeing, there's no ray of light coming ahead. How do you determine if that is something that needs to be addressed, or that is something that just a normal lifestyle, or something that is not real, that's just a mirage?
I think the most important thing is for people to understand, first acknowledge that they have depression, and then try to figure out the reason why why they're having depression. What is the cause of it? If you know the cause of it, then you could be able to, you know, handle it and try to take care of it. You know, if
I think love, you know, when you show them love,
yes.
you know,
Yes, if
when
they
the people are going
acknowledge that they have
show
depression,
love,
if they are willing to come out and tell you what, you know, and if they are willing to extend their hands out so we can reach out to them, you know.
I think one of the challenges in Nigeria should be is like Mr. Bala said, stigmatization. If Nigerians or the government or I don't know NGOs or whoever it is can start working on stigmatization, you know, people are going to come out. You'll be shocked at the amount of people that are actually depressed, you know, and some people know and some people don't know, you know, but I believe at a point, whether you catch it early or later, at a point you get to know that, hey, this is depression. You understand? So that's one thing. And paying attention to loved ones around us. You know, a lot of us don't pay attention anymore. Growing up, we used to, but now I don't know. We don't pay
Growing up, we
attention.
didn't have issues. We didn't have life and work and family. It's easy to know to see everything going on.
We don't pay attention. Then another thing I feel the thing should be taken to churches. You understand? I believe that churches should have a department where when people are depressed, yes, they can pray for them, no doubt. But when you see the level of depression, you have a counselor in church, recommend it, or maybe have a psychiatric doctor come to the church, you know, and things like that, because I feel it's punishment. Because I also remember then growing up, you'll see these people tie these guys around and they'll be playing this thing, you know, and
they'll beat them.
You know, and I know people, I have been to churches where they say all in the name of Dream Miracle, and they are using this microphone wire to flog you. You understand? I've seen a lot of things like that, you know. But honestly speaking, I think the churches should come together, you know, and you know, help the society, because
I don't think churches will look at it as mental illness. They always look at everything from spiritual angle. So it's
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not everything that is spiritual. You understand? There are some certain things that
you use the word,
you know. It's just like
you don't want churches to make money.
It's just like saying. It's just like
they have to go to the doctors, but you know, church wants to make money.
Somebody has all you need to do is pop some Tylenol and rest your head. You understand? But you know, someone will probably say, okay, let me go to pastor, let him lay his hand. By the time pastor puts his hand on your head and starts shaking your head, the headache becomes worse. You know, and start thinking, you know, I'm not saying prayers don't work. You understand? Prayers work, but at the same time, when we know things that we're supposed to do, we do those things and pray that those steps we're taking, it will work better and be a permanent solution. You know, we shouldn't come back. You know, so for me, at the end of the day, stigmatization should be looked at and encourage people to, you know, making depression a spiritual thing should also be looked at. You understand? Then we pay attention to our loved ones, especially the younger ones. I know a lot of parents don't have time for their kids anymore. You know, they have the house help, the school bus comes to pick them from home, take them to school, they are off to work. By the time they're back from work, the kids are already in bed, sleeping. And weekends, maybe they need to tidy up for the next, you know, and the kid comes and says, Daddy, do you know what happened to school? Oh, okay, you know what, I'll listen to you later. I need to do this and I'm doing it. When I come back, we'll talk about it. And when you come back, the kid is in bed. You understand? So I think we should cultivate a habit of trying to listen to our kids. Let them be our friends. Let your kid be able to, you know, get to that point, be able to tell you anything at all without holding back.
Including your spouses.
You understand? That way you're in a better position to advise, you know, and put them in the right path.
We've gone well over 1 hour.
Yes.
It's been 1 hour, 30 minutes. We can go on and on and on because it's such a broad topic. I feel like we haven't even said anything at this point, you know, honestly, because there's so much stuff that I want to say. But before we leave, I want us to quickly talk about the Blue Cloth Bandit. I just want to chip that in. I don't know if you guys know about the guy, the Nigerian guy that was arrested like 2-3 weeks ago because he robbed about 68 times. He robbed multiple gas stations, 68 times, and he was finally caught. This guy just got married in July. You know, the reason why I want to touch that story is because, you know, sometimes you're nosy. I'm nosy too online. I want to, something happens. You quickly search the person's name. You want to know all about, all about the person. So I did. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when I went and looked up that boy and the wedding pictures and everything, I was so sad. I was so sad because this young man is a fine, young-looking man that really has no business in doing what he did. If you see his wife, oh my God, the wife could be my sister. I wanted to cry. I saw his family, nice, decent-looking Nigerian, nice, upscale family. I'm like, oh my God, I could not believe it. It's like, why in the world would he do that? Why? I'm not how do you say? I'm not sad for him. I'm just sad for his family. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he brought shame to his family, you know? Because if you guys saw their family picture, their wedding pictures,
wow,
it's so nice. And people are thinking that maybe the reason why he did that was because he needed money for his wedding, because he had a nice upscale wedding. You know, I don't know.
For me, my opinion on that is you do the crime, you do the time, period. You know, whatever it is, one of the things I've learned in life is, especially Nigerians, I tell people that care to know, is in Nigeria, whether you're consciously or unconsciously, growing up in Nigeria is like a training phase for you to be able to tackle anything that comes your way anywhere in any other part of the world. Nigeria is such a place where look at from primary school to secondary school, to university and all that. And I tell my friends, when you come to America, if you put in half the hustle you put in Nigeria here, you'll be okay.
Places, yeah.
You'll be okay.
And this guy was born here, though.
Yeah, he was born. But sometimes,
that's even the sad part. He was born here.
One of the trends in America is everybody wants to be a rapper. Make billions. Everybody wants to be a sports star. And everybody wants. That's why I said it comes back down to the social media thing. Our celebrities, our bloggers could help. I don't have anything against celebrities showing off their lifestyle, but also tell them the hustle, where you started from, how you put.
There are lots of people that do legit work, and they always show, what they do. Yeah. I don't understand why people cannot emulate that, but you want to emulate like Oshmo B, who you don't know what he does, but he has all this money.
Exactly.
You understand? So, as an adult, I don't, for something like that, you are conscious, you are an adult, you know what is right from what is wrong. I will not even give you an excuse for doing that. You sure you understand? I will not give you an excuse. Huh?
I said it still boils down to family. The Bible says, train up the child in the way that he should go. Now, the reason why we're having so much challenge in the society today with the youths is because, in quotes, my pastor used to say, because fathers have failed. Because when fathers fail, the result, the ripple effect is going to be in the society. When parenting fails, the ripple effect is going to be in the society. When you train up your child to be contented with what they have, there will be no need for them to now go on social media and get it influenced negatively.
But you know what? Even as much as I would like to blame the parents. That's why I said he's an adult. If he was like a teenager or like my son, 7-year-old, I would blame the parent. But this is an adult. This is an adult that knows. So I can't really blame the parents, because this guy has a job. He was a counselor. He was a drug addiction counselor or something like that. He has a job. At that age, you should. I would think of that when they're teenagers, like peer pressure, and maybe the parents are not doing something. But me, I feel like most people in life are actually, let me say, they are molded by the environment, whether the parents are involved or not. You understand what I mean? Yeah. I feel like the environment has a lot. for someone that went to college, it could be a good kid until he got to college and decided to do whatever his friends are doing. Sure, you understand? So it's not every time that I want to blame the parents. My parents raised me well. My parents are good people. But I've done some things in my life that my mom would not, I will never tell my mom. Sure, you understand? I look at it like that. There are some things that my mom will never find out, that she probably have a heart attack if she hears. Sure, you understand? So, like, there are things that we even hide from our parents. You know, because he's a grown up. He could be doing Yahoo on the internet, because some people say he doesn't have a job. And why didn't, like you said, why didn't his parents look into it? Well, like, my mom doesn't really know what I do now. She doesn't really have to be in my business. I will tell her when I want to tell her. She's not going to find out if I'm robbing, or there's no way she can find out. There's no way. I'm an adult. I don't live under a roof. There's no way she can know. Even if I'm spending a lot of money, what if I say, hey, I have Bitcoin that I'm selling? How will she prove that I don't have Bitcoin? There's no way. There's no way. So I try to not even put the parent into it, just because he's a grown up, he's an adult. Like I said, my parents they don't know what I'm doing. They don't know. So sometimes we don't even blame the parents, especially when they are older, when they are older people.
What I would say on that is, in as much as possible, we train our kids in the word of the Lord, you know, as much as possible, so that, you know, when they grow, they will not depart from it. You know, that is very important. And whilst you train them well, you also pray for them. I am of the school of thought that a lot of things that I'm going through or happens to me is as a result of the prayers my parents prayed for me, and also showed me, you know, I always say,
yeah, that's the only thing. Just pray for them.
I used to tell people that my mom used to ring it in her ears: whatever you do, wherever you go, remember where you're coming from. Remember the child of who you are. You understand? And that has stuck in my brain, in my whole system. That even when I'm about to do something wrong, that thing just comes in. I remember where you're coming from. You understand? So that has helped me a lot. It helped me a lot to overcome a lot of things, and you know, that's just it. We need to train our kids right. You understand? And when they grow up and become elder, we keep supporting them with prayers. And honestly, I still think, like, my parents are late, but I had a mom that even if I was 70, I told my mom everything. There was nothing I hid from my mom. You know, that is the kind of relationship we should keep with our kids. You know, let them open up to us. Let them tell us anything, and we'll advise them as much as we can and pray for them.
Yeah, let me just add to that, and then we'll wrap up the show. Like, if we are close to our kids right from when they're young, we establish a good relationship with them. You know, we put the fear of God in them. You know, that will help a long way. But like I said, these kids, they grow up, they leave the homes, they mix up with all kinds of, you know, people out in the outside world. They're influenced by a lot of things. So unfortunately, you know, they can do things that we don't, you know, that we do not even, you know, can't even hear of it, you know. So we should just pray, you know, pray to God and keep praying for them, keep talking to them, hopefully, because I thought, I looked at his family, I saw his parents, oh my God, I feel like they could be my parent. I felt so sad. His wife, oh my God, I felt like she could be my sister. And she's a nurse, she's a nursing director. I'm like, what? She's a director of nursing. You know, I was like, oh my God, I can't even, she looks so nice. I was like, oh my God, I felt so terrible. Anyway, I just thought I should bring them. So, thank you guys. Does anybody have any other thing to say?
Could that be a result of mental issue too?
It could.
It could be.
It could. Let me speak, Yoruba. You know, it could be, but yeah, we got you know, because honestly speaking, sometimes there are some things you see. You know, you are living well. You know, you're not able to place it. You know, you have. You know, so yeah. I don't, there's some certain things I wonder, like when I said the wife is a nursing director, I mean, that's big. I mean, what would make you want to go rob gas stations? I mean,
68 times. Not one time, not two times, not 68 times.
And that's foolish.
Can you believe that?
You know, we say some people are kleptomaniac.
Maybe he is.
You know,
Yeah,
the sense
that's
of
a mental
so it might be
issue too.
comfortable, but it might just develop that nonsense
It could
attitude of
be.
let me just be doing this thing. It could be. Honestly, they need to check his mental state. Honestly, you know, there's some people like that. They might be okay, but they just
Yeah,
have
they
this bad
still they
habit.
don't for no
You know,
reason. Yeah,
they just
not because
for
they
no
are
reason,
poor. Yeah, yeah.
not because they are poor. Yeah. So those ones they need to
Kleptomanias are always
evaluate.
caught
That's a special
anyways.
case.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. Thanks you today. Thanks for the the parts. I wrote it down somewhere. The biological part of the depression thing. I've learned so much, you know. But you
Yes,
know,
it's
thank you,
important
thanks a
that
lot.
really, really, before we round it, it's important that we normalize it. Normalize it. Research shows that an estimate of 1 in 15 adults suffer from depression. And an estimate of
Wow.
1 in 6 individuals will suffer from serious depression. So normalize it. It's common. And it's nothing to be ashamed or afraid about. When you have this, just reach out for help. Please, please. And we have several apps. We have BetterHelp, and there are several apps on Google that you could just download to
You
get
can
free
always
counseling.
search. You can as long as you have a phone, you can always search on
Yes,
Google.
please.
How can I get help?
Exactly.
You know.
We live in a technological world. Just
Yes,
Google it up.
everything is reachable now.
Everything
You
is
don't have
online
to.
for you.
Yes.
You can get the help you need. Please
If
do
you have
not
people
be
around
ashamed
you
to get
that are
help.
acting unusual, they are withdrawn, you know, they change. I have a friend that we used to work together. She just changed. She quit the job. She was different. I will call her, and you know, we tried to reach out many times. Eventually, we reached out. She was going through depression. She cut her hair, left the job, will not pick anybody's call. She's my neighbor. I had to go look for her. You know, and I'm glad she's doing better now. So, you know,
That's good.
we need to watch out for each other. We should be kind to each other. When people tell you their secret, don't go and tell your husband. I tend to do that though. But
I think we should with another thing that could work is because I know on WhatsApp a lot of people are in so many groups. Your alma mater, your church group, your primary school, you know. So if we could talk about these things in our groups, you know, have more support system, you know, like I said.
Most people don't want to bring
not bringing depression issue. No, talking about the topic depression.
Okay.
And when you talk about it and people are enlightened about it, you know, you can reach out to one person that you think is in the group that you think you trust or know. You know,
that's why we're doing it on this show, just to reach out to people.
Nigerian depression sometimes come from losing a job, you know, losing divorce, you know, that kind of thing. So for some people, all they need is like
sickness.
Let me give an example. Since Dele is here, sometimes you know you can reach out to just people like, okay, it's Christmas. I know that I'm going to eat well. You know, but I know there might be some people out there that might not, you know, just put some things together, you know, go visit people, you know, just check up on people. It could be as simple as that, you know. So that's it. You can also reach out to ourselves or help each other or talk to each other on our different groups.
Yeah, thank you so much for all your contributions. I know if we keep talking, we will keep talking. Yeah. We will be back another time, maybe next week. We'll see with another topic. Ron. I know this topic is so broad, we can never finish talking about it. So reach out to someone if you're suffering from depression. Please don't let it get to the point that you have to delete yourself. Please, we need you in this world. Please. Thank you so much, everyone. It was nice having you, spending our evening with you guys. Thank you. Bye. All right. Sorry, this just fell. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Bye.